Hello. If you'll give me 5 minutes, I'll give you some ideas that will make you $500 this week. So what I'd like you to do is get out a sheet of paper and imagine one of your techs or your crews and literally start at the top of the day and start thinking through every single thing that happens in the day. So I made some notes of what a typical day looks like. And so as an example, if you were to start writing at the top of the list, one of the very first things you'd write is they arrive at your office, your yard, whatever you call it. And then they clock in. They might clock in on a mobile, they might write it on a sheet of paper, they might write it on their route sheet or their work order, but they clock in. And then maybe they get coffee and then they chit chat. And then it's possible that they pick up their work orders, their route sheets, a mobile device, something, a little bit more chit chat. They head out to the truck and now they're going to go load. And when they get out there to load, they've got to, let's say they've got to wait for a couple minutes for somebody to get out of the way, or they've got to wait till somebody gets out of the way so they can back up their truck and hook up to a trailer. And then when they get to the place where their equipment's stored, maybe it's a locker or a storage facility, they are looking for some supplies or tools or something of the sort, and they're missing. They're not in there. And that slows them down. And then they've got to go looking for it. You literally run through every single element of the day, write it down, and write down all the different scenarios of things that go wrong. The equipment breaks down. They get to the client's property and the client's not there. The equipment is running, it's not running quite right because it's not been getting maintained. They're wasting too much time at the gas station. Now, if you'll work through this list and you'll circle back around once you get it done and think through it in depth, if you need to shadow them, watch them over a course of a week and keep adding to this list, when you've got, and do it by role. I mean, you can do it with salespeople, with estimators, with crews, techs, and then you start at the top and you start working down the list. So, examples, this is where I can help save you $500. First, you make your list, now you come back around to the top. So at the top, how can you make it, as soon as they pull into the office and they all come in at staggered times, let's say starting at 6:30 or whatever that time needs to be, they show up at the office and they go straight to where their equipment is stored that they need to load. That's also where they clock in. Maybe that means they clock in on a device, maybe they handwrite the time inside their storage unit, but however you do it, you've created a system where they clock in right there. There's nobody in their way. They have their own locker, their own facility, their own storage unit. Nobody could have swiped any of their tools, supplies. They load them up. Immediately a savings. Because it's staggered, there's nobody for them to wait on. On the way out of the yard, or let me take a step back, let's say that this team needs water and ice. So you've set up a system internally where you have ice makers, you have water, everything's ready for them. And you had somebody come in the night before and fill their gas tanks. Maybe in their trucks, but possibly in the equipment. So they filled all of that. And you've taken all the maintenance off of this crew, all the maintenance off this tech, of the equipment that they're using and the tools they're using with these same lesser expensive individuals that come in at night. So you think about your crews and your techs and your employees that are out in the field as these really challenging, talented people, but they're challenging to find, but they're very talented. So you wanna make their life as efficient and functional as possible, and you thereby make them happier, but you bill way more money because they're super efficient and you're not wasting payroll on these more expensive individuals. So you found lesser expensive people to do the maintenance so your teams don't have to do it, and they didn't like it anyway. You already had their equipment filled. They didn't really want to do that. You did it for them, but you just saved them tons of time. They fly in, they clock in, they load their truck. On the way out, they've got their ice and water. On the way out of the facility, somebody's at the gate, looking through the driver's side window, goes over the schedule with them for the day, problems from the prior day, pictures of issues from the prior day, notes of things that clients have called in. It all can be stored on one of these, or it could all be pre-done in the office on paper, however you choose to do it. I personally recommend that. Now, you've just saved a massive amount of time. Now, when they leave your yard to drive, what happens now? Generally, they sit in traffic, they waste a bunch of time to get to their first job, but before they do that, they go and get gas. Why in the world should they get gas in the morning? Why can't they get gas at the end of the day? Or if they're going to get gas and they take your truck home, make them get gas on their own time, not on clock time. So shift, every company sends all of their people to get gas in the morning. They get breakfast, they chat, they get coffee, they get snacks. They can do all that before they get to your office. Once they're in the truck, once they're on the clock, They do not gas the truck in the morning. They gas the truck at the end of the day. And then that's when nobody's at the gas station, and that's when they want to get home, because they're not going to waste any time fiddling around at the gas station in the evening. They want to be done and go home. How much time could you save doing that? Imagine you have 3 guys sitting in a truck for 15 minutes getting gas, getting snacks and all of that. How much payroll was that? Now, what if you saved all of that payroll and you build all of that time? That's the basic concept here that I'm running through. You can just go down the list. And then what if you get to the, down the list, and on your list you notice that oftentimes we have breakdowns or maintenance issues out in the field. So somebody from the team's got to run them equipment. How much money is that costing? Now you got 3 guys sitting in a truck waiting on equipment to get there so they can continue on. What if you got out a spreadsheet and you tracked parts and repairs and all of that for your equipment? Super simple, pen and paper, spreadsheet, and you were to find that for all your little tools, all your little small pieces of equipment, it made more sense to just sell all that stuff every year, buy new stuff. It made everybody that works with you much happier because they're using the best, newest stuff. It saves you tons of time because you're not having to run parts and equipment around. It makes your team so much happier. It makes your clients so much happier, better customer service, better quality. Just keep going down the list. What else happens? I mean, in the obscure things, like it only happens a few times a year, but somebody gets the trailer or the truck and realizes, hey, the inspection's out or the tags are expired. Take all of your trucks, all of your trailers, get them all registered in December or January. Pick a month, and every single truck, every single trailer is inspected and tags are done in that month. It doesn't require anything to remember. Once a year in December, we do this for the entire company. Nobody gets any more tickets. Nobody ever delays their day because they got to switch out license plates on a trailer. That's a more obscure, smaller thing, but fixing it is worth money. And that's the premise in my example here, is if you can drive out all of this waste, this is where all the profit is. This is the kind of stuff where you can take your business, you can add 3 points of profit or 10% profit to your business. I don't mean increasing your profits by 10%. I mean making 10% more in profits by working on different aspects of your business. So I encourage you, sit down, document it all, spend a week, observe all the crazy stuff that happens, get it all down, start at the top, start working on it.